What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Anthony. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. As the title says, this is the spoiler review for Morbius. I did a non-spoiler review. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go check that out. But if you don't care about spoilers and you've already seen the movie, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of Morbius. I'll dive into more details, talk about some of my favorite moments and some terrible moments. So just right off the top, if you haven't seen my non-spoiler review, I thought the movie was bad, but not as terrible as people were making it out to be. It's like right underneath okay, to me, in my opinion. I actually like this movie better than both Venom movies, personally. I feel like this movie has more to offer story-wise. It's just the execution in editing terms is so poor that it ruins the movie. And it's like, in my mind, I can see, you fill in the gaps, right? You can see the good movie that was potentially there. But Sony's, or the editing team or whoever, just completely ruined it. I almost wonder if this movie was recut like in a Snyder cut way. Like we get a better cut of this movie that has more content and get like a 2.5 hour version where I think it might actually be better. Because I think the story beats of this movie were actually pretty good. I like the concept. I didn't really know the Morbius character to begin with, but I like the idea of like two friends who are really sick. End up getting these powers, and it's kind of like Chronicle, right? Like the movie is called Chronicle. The three friends find the alien thing and get powers. Like, it reminded me of that, right? Where you have, when people get this power, they in their mind, in their personalities, they become different people, and people handle the power in a different way. And I feel like Morbius was like one of those things, right? Like, you have Michael Morbius, who's like a very genuine dude, and the power just kind of like enhanced that, right? It's like the soldier serum and the MCU, like, I forgot which show was it, the Falcon Winter Soldier show, where they kind of mentioned when you take the serum, like it just enhances what's already there within you. If you're a really good dude like Steve Rogers, then you're gonna be like a super mega like genuine dude, right? But if you're a bad dude, then you're gonna go down the bad path. And here we have that in Morbius, right? Where like Mike Morbius' powers, and he wants to really use it for good and for help, irregardless of what his upbringing was. But then you got Milo, or I forgot what his actual name is, but you got Milo character who gets it, and he's been put down for so long, like he wants to live and just like do all this stuff, and like now he can do it all. He's got the power to do it, and he just chooses to go down the wrong path. It's the same concept of like Chronicle. Even some of the moments like when they're testing out the powers, like I really like when Michael Morbius like testing out his powers, and the throwing the ball, learning how to do echolocation and all that shit. Like I thought that was dope. Like I love in superhero movies when like they start testing out their powers and like learning their abilities and their potential. Like I always have fun with like those kind of scenes. But I thought that was cool. I also like the effects, man. Like I liked when he did echolocation, how it like blasted out in like the wave like format. Even when he's like flying, I like the little wave stuff too. And I thought the effects of the facial transformation at times are actually really good. But then there's times where the budget, I guess, was being stretched. You had to make some shitty facial transformations. And there's moments where I feel like they should have did a little bit more like practical facial transformations, especially like when they're in the subway and they're just kind of like talking to each other. Like, it looked weird sometimes when they had the full, vamp mode going on and they're trying to talk. Like I should have did like a halfway one. Maybe just had some teeth and some red eyes. And I think that actually would have been really good for those moments where it's like we have these deep conversations instead of looking like super monstrous, like they're kind of halfway. And then when they start fighting, they go back to full vamp. I think that would have saved them some money and then probably looked better than trying to do all the CG money and do all the extra monstrosities and moments that don't really need it, in my opinion. But let's talk about the ending, man. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, so you had the final battle, which this movie was super fast paced, right? This movie was so fast. You're like, bam, 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 bam. Like, you're going so fast through this movie that you don't even have time to like absorb everything. And I think, like I said, that's where the downfall of this movie is, man. Like, the editing ruined everything. It ruined the whole movie. Because the story is there. You can see it from scene to scene, but they just chopped the shit up so much that we're just rushing through. And then by the time you get to the final battle, you're like, damn, we're here already? Like, he just kind of like, killed a few people in a few scenes, and now we're already here at the final battle. Like even when it got to what's the female Michael Morbius' girlfriend's name? Was it Martina or something like that? Even when it got to the point where, you know, Milo is like, you know, going to kill her to like get at Michael Morbius. Like, we got to that point so fast. Like, I was like, damn. Like, he went to go look for him, and he's already got his girl, and we're just going from scene to scene. We're going right to the final battle. Like, even the battle was super short. I feel like the damn subway fight was longer than, you know, the final battle was. And of course, you know, the fights were a mess. Like, whenever you have these CG fights, Man of Steel, I feel like did these like flying fights the best, and Chronicle, like I mentioned before, also had good flying fights as well. Where you can actually see what's going on instead of the camera just going all over the place, and you're just like, I don't know what's going on, and you're getting dizzy and whatnot. But this movie had that, you know, big problem with that, and I think it's like, to me, it's part of budgetary reasons, right? We're like, hey, just fucking whip the camera a lot and put some fucking debris, because we don't got the money to be animating, you know, all these like heavy ass visual effects for people actually, you know, going toe to toe. And it's unfortunate, because I feel like they would have put more money into this movie, did a better editing job, we could have something good there. Like especially some of the horror moments, man. Like when the nurse got killed in the hallway, that was super dope. That initial, you know, the initial soldier or thug mercenary killings that Mark Morbius did was super dope. Like these like very like horror-esque moments were dope, man. I actually really liked them. But we just got more time to swim with these characters, and like another thing, right? We had more time. We could see a little bit more slower of a progression of seeing them change. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being like, oh, he took Milo took the serum, he's instantly crazy as fuck and he's killing these people, and now we gotta go kill him. You know, instead of like slowly like building into it and getting a little bit more dialogue between him and Michael Morbius, instead of just like, we're just going from beat to beat to beat to beat to beat into the movie. Which is unfortunate, man, because I think this movie could have been actually pretty decent. It's crazy, man, because I feel like up to certain points, movie, maybe like halfway, the movie is actually pretty good. But then as it gets closer to the end, the pace gets even faster, right? And it kind of like derails. And it loses a lot of that like horror identity, and just kind of, you know, derails into the CG fight fest. And super fast pace, like, oh, we're getting right into, you know, oh, he's captured his girlfriend, he hurts her, now we final battle. And then final battle, and then immediate dude flies out of the whole final battle, and immediate in credits roll, post credit scenes, dumb as fuck. And let's talk about the post credit scenes too, man, because like, I don't know who said it, but they said it feels like these scenes were actually in the movie, and they pulled them out to put as post credit scenes, and I feel like that is 100% true. Like, that is exactly what they felt like when you watch them, and maybe it's because, you know, this movie was supposed to come out a couple of years ago, and so the post-credit scenes that maybe they had planned, you know, they're pointless now because we've gotten so much other Marvel-related content that they're like, well, we got to rethink these, make something that can actually fit into, you know, the movies that have come out now. And so maybe those scenes were actually in, and maybe the post-credit scene was something else that alluded to No Way Home or Eternals or something. I don't, you know, who fucking knows, but that's definitely what it feels like, and for that reason, they feel terrible. Like, they don't excite you really for anything. They don't really explain anything. And don't get me wrong, like, others post-credit scenes haven't explained anything, but just the way they're shot, because the first post-credit scene, which shows Michael Keaton coming back, and then you got the second one where, you know, he meets with Morbius and he's like, oh, I'm interested in maybe doing something with you. Maybe if that first scene was actually in the movie, maybe it wouldn't have felt as weird to have that first post credit and the second one there together. Maybe wouldn't have felt as awkward. But stupid, man. It's a weird decision by Sony on that one. And speaking to like the rating of the movie too, like, you know, PG-13. They definitely did not stretch that PG-13 at all. Like, I mean, look at the Batman. You know, that was pushing the edge a little bit. They definitely could have like pushed it further with some like the blood and things like that. But again, Sony, I guess, like with the Venom, trying to play it like super family safe. And it's so crazy because you don't have to do that. I think the Batman is proof. You don't got to play it super family safe to make, you know, buku money and have a good ass movie. But yeah, there's some dumb moments in terms of like, you know, just slashing and like no blood, no nothing. And like I said, no, like, you know, when you think about Matt Smith's character, they would have showed him being like, if they would have showed him more of being this like super menace, in a better way, it definitely would have been, the ending would have been even better. You would have been more Like, and maybe they were trying to like do that play on things where like, you know, you feel for the dude because he had like a tough upbringing and whatnot. But again, if you would have spent more time with the character, like maybe some of those things in the end would have paid off a little bit better. But no. But yeah, man, this movie, it's unfortunate, man, because I could see the good movie that's kind of there. Like, I'm sure if this movie was edited by someone else with a longer runtime, maybe a little bit more like blood, like VFX and things like that, this movie I think could have been all right, man. But it's been butchered to fucking hell. And I'm telling you right now, man, if this is the path that Sony's gonna keep doing, making these like super short runtime, fast paced, like fucking, you know, just beat to beat movies, man, I think every single movie that comes out is going to underperform and, you know, get terrible reviews. And if they would stop trying to do that and stop trying to conform to what in their minds they think they're supposed to do. Oh, we got to make it family, so we can't have certain blood aspects and things like that. Like, just tell a good story, man. And if it calls for blood, then add blood. If it's called for blood, don't have blood. You know what I'm saying? If you're making a vampire movie about a dude like drinking blood, like you got it. You got to do that stuff, man. And they did it sometimes. Like that whole nurse scene, I think, if they would have, that nurse scene, that vibe should have been, you know, throughout the entire film. You know what I'm saying? Like that, the DNA of that should have been throughout the entire film in terms of like the sheer like terror and horrorness of it. That was the only time that I felt like, okay, like they actually push, not really, but you know, they pushed the horror element that wasn't so family, you know, friendly. Like they're trying to make Morbius family friendly, which is so dumb because it doesn't. Just looking at the character and what he's about and the things he's doing, like, you know, trying not to kill people and stuff like that, like, it doesn't make sense. But I'm rambling at this point, man. I don't want the video to be too long, but definitely drop down in the comments like some other, you know, spoiler moments or plot points that you want to discuss in terms of good or bad, and I'll be happy to jump down in the comments and expand on some more stuff. But I don't want the video to be too long. But that's just my general thoughts on some of the more spoilery like elements of Morbius. Again, I don't think the movie is very good. I think it's pretty bad, but I don't think it's like dog shit bad. And I think it's more so because I feel like I actually like the story that they're telling. Just the execution is so bad, and I think it's down to the editing choices that were made. Like, just real quick, thinking back to like the beginning of the movie when they cut to I think, what did they cut to? Was it Costa Rica? They cut to something, and there was like this, you know, unmasking circle that you know, brought the picture into frame. And I was like, what the fuck? They never did anything like that ever again. That's the point. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, the editing in this movie is so fucking bad. And I think if somebody re-edited this, we could have, I think a good movie is there, man. I'm telling y'all. But yeah, it's unfortunate, man. But, you know, drop down in the comments what y'all thought about Morbius. Again, drop down some spoiler moments. Let's discuss this thing. Because maybe y'all thought it was really good, or maybe y'all thought it was complete dog shit, and you want to, you know, drop down some reasons, and I'd love to discuss that with y'all. If you made it to this point in the video, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we'll have I got more, you know, more videos dropping throughout the week, and of course in a few days we're gonna have the next Moon Knight episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that reaction. But again, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.